that must give Kerry people great mark about their chances.
That's true. They played with great fire and spirit in the second half. They combined well, and well, if they can kick the ball low, I think against this Dublin side, I think they have a right chance.
Okay, Mick, and as I said, the Mayo team are out on the field here at Croke Park to a tremendous reception from the Mayo supporters in the crowd. We await the All-Ireland champions Meath, who will be with us soon, but we're going to take a commercial break very shortly. We have a little bit more to talk with the panel before we go to the match itself, so join us again in a moment.
No change about it.
Welcome back again to Croke Park, and let me also take this opportunity to welcome all the viewers who are watching us in America today, in Chicago and Boston and San Francisco and in New York. Well, I can tell you that both teams are out on the field here at Croke Park, and if the reception that greeted the teams is anything to go by, then we should be in for a great afternoon of football. A scream of approval when Meath, the All-Ireland champions, came out onto the field here, and a huge Mayo support as well. But down in front of the Hogan stand right now is Enda Colleran, who's been soaking up all the atmosphere down there. And Enda, if you can hear me over the din, I'm sure there's great excitement down there.
I know, Michael, difficult to hear with the band just past me at the moment, but the atmosphere is absolutely electric here. Meath followers here in their thousands, and Mayo quite plentiful as well. Now, conditions are very different to last Sunday because, as you can see, the sun is shining. There is a slight breeze which is blowing from the Hill 16 end towards the Canal end, but this won't have any major influence on the game. The pitch itself in absolutely immaculate condition. Somebody said to me, if they can play football on this pitch, they can play it anywhere. So really everybody here tensed, excited and looking forward to a wonderful game.
Okay, and thank you very much indeed. We are looking forward to it ourselves, I can assure you. Now, let me give you the result of the first match here at Croke Park this afternoon. That was the All-Ireland Under-21 hurling semi-final between Cork and Antrim. And Cork won that by 4-21 to 1-3, and that means, of course, that they are through to play Kilkenny in the All-Ireland final. And the minor match that we've just seen, Dublin victors over Galway, and that by 1-9 to 7 points. Okay, let me turn to my panel here. To Mick O'Dwyer, the Kerry manager, and Paul Early of Roscommon is also with us. Mick O'Dwyer, great atmosphere for this game, and although Mayo are underdogs, that kind of reception and that greeting them must give them a lift.
Yeah, well, I suppose Mayo rarely come to Croke Park, you know, of late, and when they come, they bring big following with them. It reminded me a lot of when the Ulster teams come down, you know, Tyrone and Armando's, they brought great following down as well, and it was great atmosphere. There's something similar today, actually. Meath following is very big today, and so is Mayo. I think it's going to make for a very, very interesting game today.
Paul Early, one change on the Mayo team as they came out onto the pitch here. Joe Lindsay is on instead of Tom Riley in the attack. Now, will that affect Mayo, do you think?
I don't think so, no. Joe is a similar type of player to Tom. Tom obviously will be very disappointed that he didn't make it. He's a good friend of mine. But Joe is a quick player, scores a lot of goals for Mayo down through the years, and he'll be looking forward to a good game today.
Well, of course, you saw Mayo very close up recently in the Connacht final. How do you rate this Mayo team?
Mayo are very good. They're very confident. I think today that they'll need to get about 60% possession at midfield to win the game. Meath have probably the best forward line in the country. They will survive on crumbs up front, you know. But Mayo need a lot of possession at midfield, and their forwards can do the business then.
Mick O'Dwyer, Meath not only the best forward line in the country, but most people would agree probably the best all-round team in the country right now. Very difficult job for Mayo today.
I would say so, but I wouldn't agree that they're the best forward line in the country. They have the best full forward line in the country, agreed, but their half forward line I don't think is that great. They're very strong in midfield and have a very good full forward line. Mayo seem to have a good midfield triangle there, you know, the centre forward, centre back, and their two midfielders are good fetchers and they're big strong guys, and they have Willie Joe Patton in the subs who they could bring in. But I don't think they have the finishing power up front to win an All-Ireland semi-final today. I think Meath are better finishers, and I think that's the reason why Meath are going to win today.
Of course, the midfield battle is always crucial in Gaelic games. McEntee and Hayes have been dominating it, as Mick said, for the past 12 months now. There must come a day, though, that somebody is going to match them at midfield, and that could put a different complexion on the outcome of the game.
That's right, yeah. At this level, whoever wins the midfield battle usually wins the game. But recently, Meath have not dominated to the extent that they had last year. In the last game against Dublin and in the semi-final, the Leinster semi-final against Offaly, they didn't dominate for the first half, but they came into it towards the end of the game and won those games handsomely in the end. Now, Mayo have a couple of options. If they're not going well at midfield, they can bring Willie Joe Patton on. They can also bring Liam McHale, who's a huge player. They can bring him out to midfield. So they have a number of options if things aren't going very well for them there.
Well, it's a fascinating prospect, gentlemen. There's so much to talk about concerning this game. But rather than talk about it, I think it's time that we actually got to the action itself. The teams, as you can see, are going through the parade. So we'll be getting down to the football itself very, very shortly. And for that, let me hand you over to our commentator for the big game, to Ger Canning.
Yes, a big atmosphere. 34,000 people here already, we understand, for this meeting of East and West in a championship, I suppose, that has so far thrown up very few surprises. This is the team news we have for you. First of all, Mayo. Tom Riley is off the Mayo team because of injury. Frank Noon, however, has passed a late fitness test, and Joe Lindsay comes in place of Riley. Also in the attack, Anthony Finnerty gets the wing forward position, and Jimmy Burke retains his place on the fringe of the square, with Mark Butler and Tom Morgan stepping down to the subs bench. Incidentally, on that subs bench, Willie Joe Padden among the 6 nominated subs. He could well make another appearance. And Meath, of course, with a very settled look about them, as befits All-Ireland champions. Porrick Lyons is back alongside his brother Mick in the full back line, behind a steady half back line and a consistent midfield. In attack, the big worry, of course, concerned Bernard Flynn, troubled by a groin strain, but his condition has improved and he plays alongside Brian Stafford, back in the number 14 shirt, having missed the Leinster final. And of course, they say that the strength of the side is its reserve power. When you look through the Meath reserve power, well, you've got 6 players there, I think, who would get into any inter-county side in the country. People like Terry Ferguson and Joe Castles. And there's the type of support this afternoon, and an indication of the breeze as well, which has changed direction, I'm glad to say, since last week. Not as vigorous at all as it was on that occasion for the first semi-final, but it's blowing up from the railway end on this occasion up towards the canal side. So the side playing left to right in the first half, which is Meath, will have the aid of the breeze. And just because of the colour similarities, Mayo this afternoon playing in red with green trimming. Meath changed to gold with green banding and green shorts. And now the crowd standing, facing the tricolour there way on our left for the national anthem, Our Own the Vienna. Everything is now ready for the start of the 32nd and penultimate game in this year's championship, which began all of 15 weeks ago and has so far produced 60 goals. Remember, a place in the final in 3 weeks' time at stake. Tommy Subru from Kerry is the referee. And you've got Meath playing left to right in the first half. Interesting to see here at the throw-in if Jerry McEntee contests, and Liam Hayes once again withdraws and picks up the loose tap back as they've done in the past. Breaks down to Jerry McEntee. Stafford here. Thigh heavily bandaged, and he wins the free-in. And the first scoring chance. And Mayo must realise they can't give away frees in this kind of kickable position with a player like Stafford around. Breeze behind him there. And Brian Stafford puts Meath in front from the free in this, the third semi-final meeting of Meath and Mayo. Eugene Lavin, the goalkeeper from Kiltimagh, Placing the ball on the 20-metre line, a player who made his debut in 1977 for Mayo. Chance of Mayo and Meath around Croke Park. Great support for both these teams as they wrestle for possession. Arnon is penalised. Towards Jimmy Burke. That'll be a good contest between Burke and Mick Lyons. Burke seemed to be tripped, yes, on the 13-metre line, and Mayo have a chance to draw level. The big burly full forward who made such an impact when introduced in the second half of the Connacht final. Tommy Subra, whose last big game here in Croke Park was the league semi-final. Word of warning as well issued. Martin Carney is the free taker this afternoon, the oldest player on the park at 36, but he's missed his first chance. And Meath stayed at 1 point in front. Mickey McQuillan, the Meath goalkeeper, like Eugene Levin, yet to concede a goal this year in the championship. Towards Martin O'Connell. Towards big Brian Stafford. Michael Collins is his marker this afternoon. Angling it across intelligently from McEntee, standing 45 metres out. Doesn't score too many points. More a supplier than a scorer. And there you saw why. Contesting in midfield, Robbie O'Malley, having gone further up the field from his right corner back position, took a tumble there, was fouled by TJ Kilgallen. The referee allows an advantage, however, which doesn't come off. Michael Collins, Frank Noon here. Arnon trying to judge it, contesting with McHale, big strong fellow, international basketballer. Then it'll chip forward towards Martin Carney. Runs on over there. Interesting position as Finnerty supplied that pass inside, and it has gone behind and wide. Mayo looking threatening, but yet to score. Away from that, he'll be remembered for his goal after a few minutes in the last semi-final 3 years ago against Dublin. And certainly the Mayo supporters making themselves heard. Trying to get back into the All-Ireland final for the first time in 37 years. Kilgallen here. He was held by Matthew McCabe. Meanwhile, across on the far side, Anthony Finnerty is the player who's down injured. Player who was a surprise recall to the Mayo team for the semi-final. Wasn't included at all even in the substitutes list for the Connacht final against Roscommon. Figured in a few league matches during the winter. And from time to time you'll see the various statistics coming up on your screen for the various players. It's in the best of health at the moment, and there's a spray as well being applied to the leg of Dermot Flanagan. So 5 minutes gone. Mayo with this free. Martin Carney just outside the 45-metre line, flicking it in towards McHale. Oh, it came down and well taken by the goalkeeper at the far post, down to Kevin Foley. Well, that would certainly have set this match up. Meanwhile, the counter-attack defused and stopped there by Jimmy Brown to Frank Noon, who was a real injury doubt before the game, but passed a fitness test and showed no ill effects this morning, so he's included. Mayo contesting everything, but an over-vigorous challenge there by McHale. Yields a Meath free just outside their own 45-metre line. Porrick Lions. Seeking out PJ Gillick. Comes down from Dermot Flanagan to the waiting Frank Noon. Busy, as always, pushed. And another injury. And that looks like PJ Gillick. He was involved in an attempt to gain possession just a few seconds ago, and he's out cold. And he would be quite a loss if he were forced to leave the game. They're attending to him. I wonder what happened there. We could have another little look at that. It might make some interesting viewing. Meanwhile, down at the other end, this was the near incident. McHale was in after that free and came off the post and down into the goalkeeper's arms. Meanwhile, they still attend, as you see here, to PJ Gillick, a fine young player. His enthusiasm alone, I think, is something that can be difficult to curtail, and he's back on his feet. He's only 21 years of age. 3 years ago he was playing here against Mayo in the minor semi-final. So everybody is fitting well, and Eugene Lavin has come 30 metres from his goal to take the free, down towards McHale once again, fisted away, booted clear by Jerry McEntee towards Colm O'Rourke. The referee says no foul, and I think that is the correct interpretation. Dennis Carney taken, however, by Robbie O'Malley, great cornerback, in towards Gillick, flank kicked away by Dermot Flanagan. Sean Maher here, contesting, belted away by Jimmy Brown. Mayo content and prepared to carry the fight to the champions. Meath, the hottest of favourites going into this match, remember. Bookmakers were quoting them 6-1 on. Robbie O'Malley. PJ Gillick has moved forward into a corner forward position, and that is a free in. I'm not sure if they're giving PJ Gillick a breather at the moment just to recover from that injury he picked up a little while ago. He's playing full forward at the moment. Being marked there by Dermot Flanagan. Brian Stafford, the only scorer so far, that from a free in the very first minute. Towards Gillick, and he was on top of an opponent. Good to see Brian Stafford back in the action once again. They certainly missed him in the Leinster final. So Meath then playing with the breeze, remember. A considerable breeze, though by no means as potent as the wind that was here last Sunday. O'Connell waiting on the left wing, closed down by Finnerty. Intended for Colm O'Rourke, but the backs at the moment not quite linking up all that well with the full forward division. Bernard Flynn, who scored 4 points in each of the last 2 semi-finals that Meath has played in, didn't score, strangely enough, in the Leinster final. Slacker left kick out against the breeze, but it reaches TJ Kilgallen. Into space, Martin Carney chasing, Jimmy Brown calling well, making it his, fisting it on towards Durkin, but overhitting that pass. Kevin Foley expecting support from a colleague, such is the understanding in this very consistent Meath team. McHale fisting it forward. Noel Durkin. This is Sean Maher. Ballooning it way up into the air, it drops down in front of the goalkeeper, who judiciously fists it away into space, and there's a foul on Liam Hayes and a free out. Plenty of movement so far, good deal of fluency in the game. It reaches PJ Gillick, Dermot Flanagan, unable to get in a challenge. Across to Colm O'Rourke, Meath doing all the early pressing. Misdirected. Colm O'Rourke, who got 5 points in the last 2 semis against Kerry and against Derry last year. Certainly in the battle of the cheering at the moment, the clapometer would seem to indicate that the Mayo supporters are in the finer voice. Nicely taken by Maher. Intended there for Joe Lindsay. The defence not standing on ceremony. Trying to pick out DJ Kilgallen, succeeding as well, getting there ahead of Jerry McEntee, and he's fouled in possession. And you see he's got a heavily strapped up thigh. So too Dermot Flanagan, doesn't look at all to be the complete fit player, Dermot Flanagan, at the moment. And towards McHale, bunch of the basketball stars about that, intending to link up with Jimmy Burke. Kevin Foley inside his own 45-metre line. He's tentative. Left behind by Beggy. Gillick trying to pick it up. Fumbling. Comes to Sean Maher as well. And support there from TJ Kilgallen. Down to Jimmy Burke between Burke and Lyons. Lyons getting the fingertips away to Robbie O'Malley. Glue like he picks that one up. Releases it to the unmarked Liam Hayes. Stop marking in midfield. Early stages in the game. McCabe unable to get in at the end of it. A player who was selected for the semi-final last year against Derry, but missed it because of an injury. And just a reminder there that PJ Gillick is playing full forward at the moment. John Finn tackled hard, and a free. In fact, just to confirm that Gillick has now gone back on the 40 and Stafford playing full forward. Eugene Lavin is coming once again to take this free. This is about 40 metres out. Driven well into the breeze. Kevin Foley, very direct corner or wing-back play to Jerry McEntee, so industrious as always, looking for loose players. Possession football by Meath. High into the arms of John Finn. A diagonal pass, so Finnerty can keep it in play. Ooh, taken out of it by Martin O'Connell, and that should be a free. O'Connell claiming it was shoulder to shoulder. The referee didn't see it quite like that. So a very low-scoring semi-final so far. Just a point, that from a free in the very first minute, and we're now after playing a quarter of an hour's football. Nobody jumping there with McLyons. Certainly the forwards are going to have to close down these Meath backs a bit more convincingly. They're gaining a lot of possession and setting up chances. Michael Collins, tight. Jimmy Brown here, the 29-year-old cornerback, versatile defender. Liam McHale trying to get away from another Liam Harnan. He's a very clever player. Ooh. Referee had blown the whistle, I think. McHale has been the leading scorer in Irish basketball. That's the native player for the last 2 seasons. Holds the record as well for the most number of points scored in a basketball game. Dermot Flanagan is coming forward. Remember, he took some good frees in the Connacht final. Scored 2 good points as well, and valuable scores they turned out to be. Can he put Mayo on level terms? 16 minutes gone. The answer is no on this occasion. Jimmy Burke was limping around for some time, and now he's in need of attention. And John O'Mahony, his team manager, coming in to render assistance with the team doctor. And he doesn't look at all happy. Player who's been out of things for a couple of seasons now, and I think he's limping off. Yes, indications that they had to make a change, and he's gone. And in their substitutes list, they've got a number of players whom they might consider, like Tom Morgan and Willie Joe Padden as well, of course. There's Tom Morgan. He was the full forward in the early stages of the Connacht campaign. So at the moment, Mayo considering their options. Just waiting to see whether Jimmy Burke can get back into the action. They're down to 14 players. This is McEntee. Meath leading by a point. The only score scored in the first minute. Bernard Flynn brilliantly blocked down by Jimmy Brown. Taken well with conviction and poise by Maher. The release outside to Brown. Mayo building well from the back. This is Joe Lindsay. Called in place of Tom Riley before the match. Frank Noon. Brown anchoring well now, downfield, intended for Noel Durkin, cut out by Kevin Foley, doing a good man-to-man job. Dennis Carney, Finnerty, Dermot Flanagan. They must have put together about 10 good passes at this stage, but can they finish? That's Durkin high into the breeze, and it tails away without too much conviction. So Mayo at the moment doing well, playing into the breeze midway through the first half, just a point between the teams, and it's time for a substitution. The selectors decide, and Tom Morgan is the player who comes on. Morgan, who made his debut against Armagh in a relegation league tie in March. In he comes, plays it full forward. So Jimmy Burke is gone. Martin Carney from the 45 metres. And that's tailed away to the left. And he's had a couple of chances, but they've been long-range chances. Martin Carney this afternoon playing in his 6th All-Ireland football semi-final. McQuillan's kick-off, not such a good one, drops into the arms of McHale. McHale again taking that return from Martin Carney. Loose player inside was Noel Durkin. That's Jerry McEntee, who was busy and worked all the way back to cover. Kilgallen takes a high one from Liam Hayes, and there's no question that's a free in. Two seasoned inter-county players there, the two number 8s, Hayes and Kilgallen. Hayes committing the foul. So Martin Carney lines up what should be the equaliser. It is. It's come in the 20th minute. A satisfactory position for Mayo, remember, playing against the breeze. To stay very much in touch up to half-time, having the wind at their backs for the second half. Meath hoping to come more into it. Their forwards haven't been playing at all well. Dermot Flanagan has this free. McHale has gone down into the full forward line, but that's Mick Lyons jumping on challenge to Pádraig Lyons, his brother, towards Liam Hayes at midfield. Trying to get the forward line moving, looking sluggish so far. Towards Colm O'Rourke, Stockard here. That's well on its way. Well, he's one forward who can certainly carry them through any poor patch. Their only scorer so far, and Meath go back in front. I wouldn't say he's anything like 100% fit, but he certainly is very convincing. Kilgallen pitches well. Looking for support now, having to release it quickly, and the referee saw that he was bottled up. And Meath supporters, I'm sure, thinking that Kilgallen had overheld. John Finn towards Tom Morgan. This is Martin Carney. Looking very dangerous, this Mayo forward line. Noel Durkin, the sides are level. The game has come to something like life in the last 5 minutes. That was well set up. There was a nice bit of interaction and a deadly finish from Durkin, who's good in front of goal. Hayes trying to hold, runs away from him, however, down to John Finn. Poor pass, intercepted. Beggy belts it forward towards Brian Stafford. The one man they can depend on in a crisis. Oh, he did it well. Over the bar, he's their only scorer and he's restored their lead. What a great full forward he is. He was fouled initially, the referee allowed an advantage, and he followed it well. Look at the style once again. Always knows where the posts are and can always pick them out. Colm Coyle is being got ready on the far side for PJ Gillick. And on he comes indeed, and Gillick being attended to there by manager Sean Boylan. And that's a considerable loss, because PJ Gillick's been one of Meath's best players this season. He's done well for them in a difficult enough position. A young fellow of 21 coming in playing centre forward, almost straight out of minor. Out of minor in the last couple of seasons, and in those couple of seasons he's played in the senior team. Certainly a young player of the future, and Burton there, the physio, attending to him with Sean Boylan. And they're bringing in the stretcher now for PJ Gillick. Colm Coyle is the player who's come on in any case, a player who played in the Leinster final. So it'll be interesting to see just how Meath refashion their attack now. Colm Coyle, one would not have thought was a natural 40 metres player. Both sides need a good, big, strapping fellow at centre forward who can challenge for everything and distribute well inside, and this boy has done very well this season. So a sad sight indeed. Sean Boylan taking the best of care of his young starlet. It's Joe Lindsay, meanwhile, down at the other end of the field, who's being marked by Porrick Lions. So a sympathetic round of applause for PJ Gillick. Conor Ross, young man, off he goes. Time added on by Tommy Sugrue, the referee from Kerry. There's 3 minutes lost in that incident. So Coyle has gone to the 40. Dermot Flanagan is the player who's marking him. So both sides losing a player, an influential forward in each case. Eugene Lavin then to restart. Maher coming, gathering well. Lindsay doing well, teasing the defence. Trying to link up with Martin Carney. It's picked up well by Robbie O'Malley, such an astute cornerback. To David Beggy, they'll expect a little bit more from him now. Kevin Foley trying to set up Matty McCabe here on their own 65-metre line to Colm O'Rourke. This is the best bit of action we've seen from the Meath set of forwards so far. But they're still 45 minutes out from the Mayo goal. Oh, that was well picked up inside. Beggy blocked down well by Dermot Flanagan. Runs on to McCabe. two players are involved in the build-up. Over his head it goes, off the post, down to Eugene Lavin, a push and a free out. Well, what a piece of action that was for the last minute or so. We saw David Becky and Matt McCabe both involved twice in the build-up and in the execution. And this was David Beggy's run inside. Well blocked down, brilliantly so, by Dermot Flanagan. It ran on to Matty McCabe, backs to the wall as it were, so over the head. And down off the post it came before the goalkeeper was pushed. A slack clearance from Dermot Flanagan reaches Liam Hayes. Sends it into Colm Coyle. His first piece of action comes down off the post as well. So twice in the space of a minute. It comes down to Brian Stafford this time. And that was Beggy trying to apply some finish. Not enjoying the best of fortune in the last couple of games, David Beggy. Speedy and elusive footballer, known to his pals, of course, as Jinxie. .5 minutes gone in the first half, with time to be added on for injuries, I'm sure. 3 points to 2, very low scoring semi-final. Meath the leaders, but they're playing with the breeze, and this is Hayes once again. I'm sure Dermot Flanagan has watched a video of the replay league final when Hayes burst through and scored a great goal, and for his troubles Dermot Flanagan has his name taken. Brian Stafford then taking extreme care with all his frees, as he always does. Always takes his time and composes himself. Lets nothing get in his way, which is the correct thing to do, and it's 4 points to 2, and he is Meath's only scorer. Well, this Meath forward line stuttered somewhat, but eventually got through in the Leinster final. And people said it was just because of the local rivalry in Leinster between Dublin and Meath. And they were expected to have more or less things all their own way against Mayo, but that's not been the case at all. McEntee contesting, taken from his grasp. TJ Kilgallen has done very well at midfield, taken a lot of good ball. Mayo indeed seem to have learned from the Leinster final. They're bunching well in midfield. That was a poor pass by Flanagan, or free. That's neatly taken by Colm O'Rourke. Foul, but the referee allows an advantage. Into Flynn. Counter round Jimmy Brown, taking it on the outside, then inside on the left-hand boot. Across it goes to McCabe. And that's Colm Coyle over the bar. His first point since coming on, increasing Meath's lead. And with 5 minutes to go to half-time, this was the latest score. The forwards now are beginning to assert themselves a bit more. Bernard Flynn getting a bit of leeway, going right, then left. Shot off target, but held up well back there with McCabe in the action. Back to the on-running Coyle, no marking, and straight over the bar. Liam Harnan tussling towards Bernard Flynn, and he was pushing the referee to sides. They're playing on down at the other end, but it's going to be a free to Mayo. A free to Mayo for a little push that time by Bernard Flynn. Defence taking no chances whatsoever. A very pleasant afternoon here in Dublin. Anthony Finnerty across on that far side is beaten for it. Hayes going back well, drilling it forward. Extra 3 points separating the teams. Standards not all that terribly high, it must be said, however. TJ Kilgallen can't take it. Colm Coyle menacingly forward. Breaks down. Taken by Frank Noon. 3 players around him, and the ever-alert Brian Stafford there too is Matty McCabe turning on the right boot, and that sails over. McCabe's first point, and there are 4 between them once again, and the Meath followers are happy. That's the time remaining, but of course we expect about another 3 minutes to be added on for stoppages. Certainly the last 7 minutes or so has been all Meath. Enjoying a good burst. McEntee slack ball comes to Flanagan. Kilgallen belting it forward. It's been some time since we saw a prominent Mayo attack. Borwick Lions. Frank Noon the taker, getting it back from Finnerty. Oh, that's a poor pass inside, taken by McLyons, but he was fouled by Martin Carney, the referee decides. Only Subaru, the official this afternoon. Oh, a huge leap that time by Jimmy Brown, way up in the air. Coyle on for the on-running Hayes. There too, Colm O'Rourke. Hayes inside. Gaps now appear. Well blocked down by Eugene Lavin. A certain goal averted. Great goalkeeping and courageous play. Dennis Carney lifting the siege down to Sean Maher, drifting away from his marker as Meath tried to close down the Mayo attackers. But a poor ball at the finish. That final telling pass has been missing now from the Mayo play for about the last 10 minutes. Finnerty is fouled by O'Connell. So much to admire about the Mayo play from time to time, from their full back line and goalkeeper indeed, right up to about the half forwards. After that it's breaking down for them, however. Robbie O'Malley. Colm O'Rourke. He's looking a little faster to the play. McCabe getting it back to Splint. And Jerry McEntee, a good move this. Will it finish with a score, however? It certainly does. Coyle second. He's done well since coming on, Colm Coyle. There's the position then. And we're now almost into injury time. McEntee, the last of about 5 or 6 players involved before releasing it to Colm Coyle. Once again, you have to say the marking is awfully slack, and Dermot Flanagan is the player who should have been marking him. Oh, that's well taken by TJ Kilgallen. The midfielder is certainly doing well, but dispossessed by Kevin Foley and tapped away by Colm Coyle, and a Mayo ball. Finn towards McHale, can't hold. The referee saw some pushing back there, and he's giving it as a free into Mayo. Interesting one, the referee was near to the action. Martin Carney then to take this free for Mayo, who need to score badly. And he's hurled it away outside to the right. Taking a look at the Mayo half backline at the moment. Dermot Flanagan doesn't look at all happy. And we mentioned that bandage that's on his thigh a little bit earlier. And he's gone now, and he's gone back into the full back line to mark Colm O'Rourke. Kilgallen intercepted well by Martin O'Connell. Colm Coyle here. Bobby O'Malley. Liam Hayes. Once again, the marking is a little bit too slack. Bernard Flynn. The forwards carrying the greater amount of threat and intent than Mayo. On this occasion, there's a foul on John Finn, and that's going to be a free out, which will be well welcomed. Frank Noon. Slack ball. Far too many useful build-ups from Mayo have resulted in possession being given away, while the final pass being poor. And the backs certainly need to pass direct to players who are loose, as on this occasion, Tom Morgan. Sean Maher. Outside him he's got Joe Lindsay. Patient and deliberate build-up. Good little burst of speed, but there's nobody at all inside. Indeed, there seems to be nobody playing full forward at the moment. Tom Morgan adopting a roving commission, which is suiting Mick Lyons right down to the ground, literally. Brian Stafford here. Always menacing. Maybe 3 minutes of injury time now played. Beggy going forward well. This is a good run by Beggy. And it's gone wide. Not alone could he have scored a point that time, I think he could have ballooned it into the top of the net as well. But the referee saw a foul as he was going through, and it's going to be a free from the 13-metre line. So a chance then for Meath to add to their tally. And for Brian Stafford, who's got 4 points already. This is the run again, once again by David Beggy, a very elusive player. They're of great pace, going through 2 defenders that time. Watch for the challenge that comes in here. And as he was pulled down there on the 13-metre line, just outside the large square. So a 13-metre free rather, and over it goes. So near to half-time now. And the referee calls for the ball at the end of a half, dominated for the last 15 to 20 minutes by Meath, the champions. Mayo having started well, but not really putting their game together all that convincingly from the back line up into the forwards. And Meath have played with the breeze, lead by 6 points. Half-time score, it's Meath 8 points, Mayo 2.
Yes, some fascinating stuff it is indeed. So that's the situation at half-time. Meath 6 points ahead, but Mick O'Dwyer, I would put it to you that Meath's All-Ireland crown sitting just perhaps a little bit shakily on their heads right now.
Yeah, Meath are not playing that well this year. I have watched them right through from the league. They had an outstanding game in the league final this year, and I said at that stage that they had peaked around that period. They didn't play well against Dublin, and they weren't playing well today for 20 minutes of that. Mayo had plenty of the play. They missed at least 3 kickable frees. And McHale, I thought, he could have got a goal, and if he got it early on, I think it would have made a big difference to the game. However, Meath are coming back to the game. They're steadier when they're on the ball and they're holding it and they're looking for one another better. And then they have Stafford up front, who is finishing off from play and frees. And the amazing part of it all, the best forward outside of Stafford is Colm Coyle. He has played exceptionally well since he came in. As a matter of fact, Stafford and Colm Coyle has got all their scores. Exactly. That don't argue well for the rest of their forward line.
But Paul, early, looking at the game for a moment from a Mayo point of view, they may have come here as the underdogs, but they certainly weren't intimidated by Meath, and they really took the fight to them over the early stages of the game.
Certainly, Michael, they imposed their physical strength on the game from the word go, and for the first 10 minutes it showed really. There was only one point for the first 18 minutes, I think, and it was Mayo's ability to get in there, to use their physical strength, that stopped Meath playing the type of football which we know they're capable of playing. However, towards the end of the half, Meath were able to dominate, put a few passes together and get the scores. However, I think that Mayo making a mistake in that they're not hitting long balls to Liam McHale. Now Liam won the first 3 or 4 balls that went to him, and he was unlucky not to have scored the goal there from a flick, basketball style flick. But they seem to be hitting the wing forwards now instead of hitting the long balls to Liam McHale, and I think that's proven to be their undoing towards the end of the first half.
Mind you, make on that point, I suppose it's easy to criticise, but at the same time, Mayo are inexperienced at this level. Okay, some of ththese players were here in '85, but they haven't got the experience of the big time, we say, as Meath have.
Yeah, I agree, and I think we said before the game that Meath had a good full forward line. I think we agree that Mayo just hadn't the finish, and I think it's been proved in the first half there. They're lacking in finish, and that's the difference between the two sides, because territorially I would say there isn't much difference between both sides, but as I said, Meath are finishing and Mayo aren't.
Well, gentlemen, we have a lot more to talk about on what we've seen so far in the first half and what's likely to happen in the second half. But first we have a commercial break to take, so join us again in just a moment.
The news about the other number 11, by the way, PJ Gillick, he's just got mild concussion, but otherwise is okay. And the crowd, by the way, we note has now swelled from the 32,000 we were given just before the start of the match to about 40,000 at this stage. 6 points separating the teams, and this Meath team, well tipped by our experts at half-time. They've lost only one league and championship match in their last 18, and that was away on Valentine's Day to Monaghan in Ballybay. Mayo, of course, haven't too much Croke Park experience. Their last experience of a game here was the league semi-final in 1986, and since 1986 Meath have played here 14 times, and this is their 5th big match here in Croke Park since April of this year. Martin Carney, we note, has switched wings with Joe Lindsay. Lindsay now top of the left. So fine view from our camera near the Nally stand of the action here at Croke Park. So Tommy Sugrud, the referee, checks on the numbers, checks on the watch. Second half underway. TJ Kilgallen. Well blocked down by Jerry McEntee. Liam Hayes foraging. Down towards a very alert Bernard Flynn. The forwards expect to get those loose passes. That's a good move. Stafford high and over the bar for his 6th point of the afternoon. And it comes after about 17 seconds of the second half. Bernard Flynn getting miles ahead, well, nearly miles ahead of Jimmy Brown. Look at the loose marking then. Stafford never closed down, and he sticks it straight over. So the Connacht champions then having a huge task ahead of them. McHale slipped inside, comes back out. Dermot Flanagan colliding with TJ Kilgallen. It breaks loose to Colm O'Rourke. 2 Mayo players out of action at the moment. O'Rourke outside him, he's got Matty McCabe. Overhit the hand pass, just needed a little touch. McCabe was totally unmarked. The backs now completely losing touch. Flynn misdirecting, kept in play by Colm O'Rourke. Once again, look, nobody marking. And he has time to swing it onto the crusty left boot. Over it goes, and it's 10 points to 2. And we've only played, what, a minute and a half of the second half. Colm O'Rourke's first point. And he had a free kick when Mayo were down to 13 players. 2 players having collided. Willie Joe Podden is coming into the action. There he is. We'll wait to see who he's about to replace. Dermot Flanagan is down injured. TJ Kilgallen was the other player involved in the collision. It hasn't been a happy afternoon for the Mayo captain. A young man following in the footsteps of his famous father, Sean Flanagan, who captained Mayo to All-Ireland glory in 1950 and followed that up in 1951 when they beat Meath in the final. And the stretcher is coming across now for Dermot Flanagan. And once again, it looks like a touch of concussion, but that's TJ Kilgallen, who's, I'm sure, fit to resume. And Martin Carney there is rendering attention, and the first aid people will try to stitch up TJ Kilgallen. Joe Lindsay checks as well. So Dermot Flanagan's afternoon, a thoroughly disappointing one. Sean Boylan is in there, very sportingly checking on Dermot Flanagan also. Good idea, he kind of wants to stay with the action. Meanwhile, TJ Kilgallen has gone off to be repaired. And there's John O'Mahony, the Mayo manager, who took over in the autumn of last year. So two players from Mayo in the wars, as it were, and Flanagan, I think, wants to hop off that stretcher and get back with the action. He's in a daze, however. I think he's suffering from mild concussion also. So the second player to be suffered off because of, be stretchered off because of that. Meanwhile, TJ Kilgallen is still down there. Play resuming then, and Willie Joe Patton, remember, in the action. 8 points between the teams. Meath, the champions, leading, and that's Willie Joe Patton straight away winning himself the free. He's playing there back on the defence at the moment. Picked up by Liam Hayes. And Liam Hayes overcarries, and that's going to be a free to Mayo. Free, searching one inside, but well judged by Liam Harnan. Up to Colm O'Rourke, getting there ahead of Dennis Carney. That's been the secret, I think, of the Meath success. The forwards are alert and sharp. They're always getting there ahead of their markers. They've always got intent as well. They look more confident, despite that chase by David Begg. He did well there, because I think he was about to lose that one, but he persisted and he was fouled. The ball was running away completely from him. So the value of good persistence and perseverance. Brian Stafford has kicked 6 of the 10 points. Bernard Flynn. And outside and wide, and he has yet to score. Bernard Flynn and David Begg, the two forwards playing at the moment, who have yet to get their name on the score sheet. Quick kick out. Frank Noon belts it to midfield. The referee has been tumbled. And there's a big cheer from everybody. Oh, who'd be unofficial? One of the lighter moments of the game so far. Still drawing a giggle or two from the officials here. Ball touched on the ground. It's Tommy Furlong, the official there, the linesman on the far side. John Finn has slipped as he was about to take that one. They juggle around with it, and it's taken by Noel Durkin. How they badly need some scores up there and a bit of penetration as well. Mick Lyons, however, defiantly out to McEntee. Carrying it on to Liam Hayes. There's great understanding, of course, between Meath's duo in midfield. The belt into space. It's Michael Collins. Jerry McEntee can't hold, it spills away from his grasp. Down to Tommy Morgan. Oh, that's a giveaway of a ball. Matty McCabe chasing back. He's got support there if he wishes to use it. From Martin O'Connell. Anthony Finnerty, the Mayo player. Cork Lions, this very mobile Meath team. Colm O'Rourke. Chip on towards Jinxie. David Beggy. Once again, angling for a score. And he's put it over.